Hello traders, today is Saturday, February 22nd, 2025. We're going to start the video with Apple. So Friday, we had a pretty interesting, I guess, sell-off. And Apple, to be honest, had some strength compared to the rest of the Magnificent Seven and compared to the rest of the market in general. That being said, I do think that Apple might be due for actually a pullback. The reason why I'm saying this is because you have this level right here at 47.3, and what we can see, let me zoom in, is this. You had this level right here, which was a prior all-time high. You got a rejection here. You came down towards the 200 SMA. Then you move up again. You got another rejection at the level. Came down towards 225. And then once you got to that level again on Friday, you got rejected again. Let's go to the 5 minute and take a look what happened. So you had this nice move right here. You had I guess you can argue a head and shoulders, and then you came down. And when actually on the 5 minute, you were under the 200 SMA and the 325 SMA. So Apple, to be honest, if there is weakness continuation coming on Monday, I think that Apple is probably a good candidate to actually go to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised if this continues on Monday and for the next few trading days. But also there is a possibility that you might actually have a rebound on the market. But we'll see. Technically speaking, I'm a little inclined to think that Apple might actually continue going down to the downside. The candle is telling you that, and you know the technicals are telling you that. On that lower indicators, um, you know, they look a little bit neutral in my opinion. But as far as what you see on the candles and what you see how this is reacting on technical on key levels, um, you might actually find yourself, um, you know, in a continuation to the downside. Now let's move on and take a look at AFRM. And let's take a look at this. What did I say last time? I don't remember. When was the last time I mentioned AFRM? It was on Thursday. I said that we had to keep an eye on this level of support, 71.3, 71.4, whatever. And what I said is, and you might actually find yourself filling this gap. Now you are under the 21 EMA, which is this line right here. And now you're about to fill this gap. So it seems like it's about to happen. It was down 8.12%. A bad day for a firm. MACD is definitely not telling you the story that this is going to rebound anytime soon. At least that's what we are seeing on the chart right now. The RSI is saying the same, and the Williams indicator, which is a very sensitive indicator, is pointing down. It's actually, for now, I'm just going to get rid of it. So you just only see these two. Now, this is the anchored VWAP, and it's set on this candle right here, which was a pivot point for the last rally that you had. And then you had this rejection, and now you're coming back up. Not looking good, in my opinion. I think we're probably going to fill the gap, and we're going to find ourselves on an opportunity level, which is 61.6 or 61.7. But we'll see. We'll see what type of reaction we get at this level right here. Let's see if there is not actually a push to the upside in general in the market on Monday. But it seems like this is having strength to the downside. So I don't have much hopes, at least for now, for a firm to have a strong comeback to the upside. Even if we have a green day on Monday, I think there's still weakness to the downside. But we still have to see how we react on this level right here. On the VWAP, anchor VWAP, you also have the 30 SMA. We'll see how we behave there. But at least for now, my short-term price target is 61.6. It's playing out the way I said on Thursday, and it seems like it's going that way. Now, let's move on and take a look at AMD. This is another name that I mentioned on Thursday. Let me check my notes. I think I mentioned this on Thursday as well on my last video. And one of the things that, yes, I did. one of the things that I said is that I wasn't going to believe this move to the upside anytime until you break 121 or even until you break 34. Go back to Thursday's video. So these two levels are quite important. These two levels of resistance, 121 and 134. Did I say 31? 121 and 134. Anyways, you had a sell-off almost 3% on Friday. I mean, everything was selling off. But you have this same behavior right here. Let's put some trend lines and you might be able to actually see this a little bit better. And I'm just gonna be a little rough with the trend lines, but it's the same thing. It's pretty obvious right here what you're seeing. And again, I'm not trying to be precise on this. I'm just putting them quickly. But I guess you get the point, right? We continue, and you have another one here. So you can put another one right here, same thing, so I guess you get the point on what's going on here on with AMD. Technically speaking, this looks terrible. I think this actually could continue going down if the sell-off continues on Monday, which at this point is a 50-50 situation. You're going to find yourself at 100. This chart is looking really bad. And again, what I said, a lot of people were saying, we found the bottom. I don't know. I have my doubts on this. Technically speaking, looks bad. Fundamentally speaking, I don't think AMD is doing anything. I heard about some acquisitions that they were trying to do. If that is the case, that might actually push the stock to the upside if it's a good acquisition, But up until if we don't see that kind of news, nothing, I'm not believing any of these moves. So it played out exactly the same way I was saying on Thursday. I was saying you're getting rejected on the 30 SMA, you did, and you did it again on Friday. Now you're under support. So now this is resistance, 111, I'm sorry. And now you have to actually figure out a way of coming back. And I don't think that buyers are coming in. So that's what I have for AMD. I really don't have much hopes in the short term for AMD. Let's take a look at Amazon. And Amazon also had a terrible day on Friday. Now, there's something important here. This is quite interesting. You got to this level at 215, it is? Yeah, 215, 216. Let's call it 216. So you had this rejection here, which was all-time highs at one point. Then you came down and then you gapped up right at this level again, went up to highs, came down to this level, went up to highs, and now you're coming down to this level again. I think that Amazon is a great opportunity for a long-term investment at this point. We just have to wait how we are going to behave on this level at 215 or 216. I think if we break this level on Thursday, on Monday, and there's continuation to the downside, meaning momentum to the downside, you're going to find yourself at 107, at 207. At that point, I think that would be an absolute gift for either buying shares or LIPs options for Amazon. I think that Amazon right now, even as it is a good opportunity. Now, you do what you do. This is not financial advice, but I do think that where we are standing right now is a critical level. It's a critical level of support, but it's also a critical level if we break it, because that would probably push you at least towards 211, which is this area right here. Actually, is right where this week is. And then if you continue going down, you're going towards 207, give or take. That would be an absolutely great opportunity. Now, MACD is still looking bearish, but it's gonna start showing exhaustion pretty soon, in my opinion. This is already getting stretched right here on the divergence on the histogram. Now you are also oversold on the RSI, and that doesn't mean that you can actually continue going to the downside. We'll see how we behave on Monday. We'll see how the market is going to take things. Again, the sell-off for the most part on Friday was because of the news from China and basically COVID 2.0. And the market obviously got absolutely spooked with those news, which is understandable. The consequences of another pandemic would be absolutely devastating for the global economy. We're still having or dealing with COVID hangover, and I think it would be absolutely devastating for the global economy. And I think the market got very scared of the news, which, by the way, were just, I guess it was a press release, nothing else, at least for now. Well, that's what I have for Amazon right now. I think it's an opportunity, but there is a chance that you can actually go down towards 207. Keep that in mind. Let's take a look and see a little bit of green here. So let's talk about Bitcoin. And it's been a minute since I mentioned Bitcoin, but you're still in this range between 108, let's call it 109, or all-time highs, sorry. So 110, or maybe, yeah, 110, and 92. I think there is where you are. Nothing really happening. I mean, this is you're accumulating a massive amount of liquidity here, which is a good thing in my opinion. MACD is looking very neutral, which is also a good thing. I don't see much in the histogram, which is fine. Volume, nothing out of the ordinary, and the RSI is just pointing up. We'll see how we behave tomorrow. I think tomorrow for Bitcoin is going to be critical. Let's see if buyers or sellers step in, and that will give you a little bit of a clue of how the market is going to behave. Let's also take a look at how futures are going to react tomorrow. But other than that, I do think that technically speaking, Bitcoin is not looking bad. You can still go down towards 92. If you break 92, you're going to find yourself at 86. It's that simple. But right now you are right on this level that is right on this. I mean, I could put a line right here, and I can just draw a line right here, and it's going to find you support and resistance in some of these candles. So I like the fact that it's staying here. I like the fact that it's not moving around with giant candles. One thing to keep in mind, if you break 92, you are at 86. If you break 86, disaster, you're coming down very quickly towards 77. Yeah, towards 77. But let's not focus on that. At least for now, it doesn't look that way. Why am I saying 77? Because there's low liquidity here. That's it. But anyways, for now, your range is 92 and 110, pretty much. So these levels of liquidity are not looking bad at all. This is concerning, but we're not there. We're not even close. So we'll see what we get tomorrow. We'll see how things develop today, and we'll see if there is any headlines tomorrow that are going to be positive or negative. At this point, we are so reactive to headlines that we just have to wait. So that's what I have for Bitcoin. It looks pretty neutral, at least for today. Now let's take a look at Google, and look at this. Now this is not looking good at all as far as technicals. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI, not looking good. The MACD is catching momentum again to the downside. It looked like it was going to start curling. You were having this nice base right here, which is something that I said, I believe, on my last video as well. You're having this nice base right here on support, but you broke support with a lot of momentum on Friday, and now you're feeling this gap. This gap, I probably cleaned it up on Friday, but this gap was up here. It's filling this gap. Don't be surprised if you find yourself at the 200 SMA. You could, or maybe even a little bit lower, which is down at the 176 key level. So we'll see how we behave, but I wouldn't be surprised if sometime next week you find yourself at the 200 SMA. At that point, I believe you're going to have another outstanding opportunity to, I guess, either reposition or find a way of investing here. I think that Google and Amazon right now are great opportunities. I mean, Google went down. I need to see this. I need to measure this. From all-time highs to basically where we closed today, 13%. Wow. So if we go towards the 200 SMA, we're going to be somewhere around 15% to the downside. And if we get to this level of support at 176, you are 15.5%. Wow. that would be a tremendous opportunity for investors, in my opinion. For now, I think the worst case scenario is meeting the 200 SMA. So you have a drop of 15% from all-time highs, and then I think we're going to start moving to the upside. Again, I think this is not looking bad at all. It's looking bad right now in very short terms. But again, unless we continue having very spooky news or bad news, I think this move might probably stop at the 200 SMA or 176. That's at least for now what I'm thinking could happen. Now, let's take a look at another company that, as you might know, after Google, when I do Google, I always do HIMS. And surprise, surprise, we got a minus 25%, almost 26% day. This is crazy. You're having this day right before earnings. Now we'll see what kind of guidance we get from management and leadership in HIMS. But, you know, it is funny because on my last video I said, you know, I see very unlikely. We were looking at this candle and I was saying, no, I was looking at this candle. This was on Thursday afternoon. And what I was saying is that I thought it was very unlikely that we were actually going to move down towards 44. And that's what I was hoping. I was hoping for the price to go down towards 44 before earnings. And little that I knew, the next day you were going to drop by 25% or almost 26%, which is insane. You know, you're still right on top of a level of very, very low liquidity, which is this area right here between 49 and 45. So we'll see what happens there. To be honest, I'm not sure what type of price action. Nobody knows what type of price action we're gonna get on Monday. But if you have a continuation to the downside, I think that you know you still need very clean earnings and guidance for HIMS to have a nice or continuous move to the upside. One of the things that I was saying in prior videos when you were seeing these moves is that I was feeling uncomfortable on how stretched you were getting. And I was worried that if earnings weren't perfect, you were just going to drop like a rock, you know? So you erased pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of trading to the upside in one session. And that's what happens when you're dropping. You know, it takes a long time to move to the upside, but when you drop fast, and it happens like that. My suggestion, I guess, for Monday would be, you know, if there is a rebound, just be careful and keep an eye or be mindful of the quality of the rebound. If the rebound has actually volume and momentum to the upside, that's one thing. But if the rebound is something that looks weak, that might actually tell you that a continuation to the downside is going to continue. And I'm not only talking about HIMS, I'm talking about every single name that was hit very hard on Friday. Look at this name right here. Nice. It's not on my list, so I'm not going to talk about it. Another name that actually had a really bad day was Robinhood. I don't know. I might make a video tomorrow and find some other names that look interesting. Look at RAP. It's not looking bad. Had relative strength on Friday. But anyways, we'll see what type of move we get before earnings. Technically speaking, this is not looking good, but there is no technicalities here to discuss, I believe, especially if you have earnings coming. My opinion is, and if earnings are not perfect and they are not enticing for investors, this thing is going to drop and you might find yourself down here at 35 or somewhere close. That would be catastrophic for in the short term, you know, but that might actually give you an opportunity to reposition or just maybe wait. But again, HIMS is in a sticky situation in my opinion right now. So we'll see how we behave on Monday during trading, and very important, I'm definitely gonna be paying attention to earnings and especially guidance, because earnings could be good, but guidance based upon the news that we got last week, or you know, I believe it was on Friday or on Friday morning, you might have a little bit of a difficulty. You know, if yeah, look at this drop. If guidance isn't good. All right, let's move on and let's go back. I have a lot of Mag 7 names today. Let's talk about Meta. And, I posted on X right on this candle, I believe, and I said, this is healthy. And I still believe the same thing. Now, you erased 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days of trading in 4 sessions. And again, this is a good example of how quickly things move to the downside when they actually start moving to the downside. Keep that in mind. I keep that in mind myself. Now you're getting into an area of low liquidity here. That is precarious. That is worrisome. You have a level of support on the 30 SMA. We'll see how we behave. I mean, it tends to respect it, but it's also an indicator that could be easily broken, like the 21 EMA. So we'll see how we're looking here. Now, on the lower indicators, the MACD is not your friend right now. It's not looking good. So you might actually have more opportunity to the downside for Meta. It was down 1.6%. It's been down since all-time highs, almost 8%. And I think it still has more room to continue going down. This move, in my opinion, when I was seeing this, I didn't play this. And if you did, I'm super happy for you. But I didn't. But this move right here, I think I traded these 2 candles and then I got into something else. I think I was on Costco and Walmart when they were going to the upside. But when I was looking at this, I was like, this is not a trade for me. I don't care how steep this get. I don't want to trade it. The same with HIMS. And the reason for that is because sooner than later, you're going to have momentum coming to the downside and you are going to see it. It's going to come. The volume is going to come. And then these gaps of liquidity are going to get filled. It's that simple. So I think, unfortunately, I think Meta is going to continue to go down, even if Monday we have a green day, which it could be possible. But next week, I think it's going to be a red week for Meta. So we're probably going to have another red candle on the weekly. But the weekly also looks pretty extended. So we'll see how we behave. We'll see what happens. You might actually find opportunities here. You might find opportunities to actually buy puts. As I said before, I try to trade to the upside, but I might be flipping now and buying puts. Apple is one of those things. I mentioned that in the beginning of the video. One of those names that I might actually position, myself to buy some puts. And Meta is actually looking like it's asking for it. Look at the MACD and look at the strength. Look at the RSI. Let's open the Williams indicator. Look at this thing, and it started right here. It actually told you that story right on this candle. The Williams indicator was telling you what was going on right here, and you can read it here. So on this candle right here on the top, let's go to this one. Okay, so this was February 13th. You were right on this top right here. So you were at minus 0.4. The next candle, which was also a green candle, and it was a 1.1% to the upside day. Now look at this. You were down minus 5.21 on the Williams indicator. You can see it on the left side where it says Williams percentage ratio. So that was already telling you that something was brewing. The MACD, look at the MACD. The MACD already looked like, okay, I'm exhausted. Look at the signal line. Look at what was happening in the histogram as well. So all of this was telling you a story already. This was telling you, okay, there is exhaustion on this move, and it was pretty obvious. Now, you had this move to the downside, and I think there is a continuation. The histogram is telling you this. Now, this indicator is very sensitive, so this doesn't mean that it's too extended or whatnot. And it could actually, if you have a green day, it could go all the way up here and then come back again. The RSI is actually very bearish. So there's where we're standing right now on Meta. Now let's talk about Tesla. And okay, I don't know what to tell you, but if you are a Tesla trader, you know exactly what's going on here. It's one of those things that Tesla has done to us for years and years and years. So nothing surprising here. Down almost 5% for the day on Friday. Everything was selling off though, so it's not like Tesla was the only one, obviously. But I think if we break 137, you're going straight to 313. And if you break 313, it's going to get ugly. You're probably going to get to a 200 SMA. It's that simple. So you have this kind of like H formation here. It's not looking good. It couldn't break this level of resistance at 365, which again, I said this before when we were coming down. I said this is critical, and now when we were coming up, I also said it's critical to break it with momentum. It couldn't actually do it. This is not good. It's straight up not good. So 313 is a last level of actual critical support, and after that, you're probably gonna go to 313. You break 313, low liquidity here, 300, even less liquidity towards 265. This could be terrible for Tesla. This indicator right here, the MACD, looked as of Wednesday that it was going to curl and maybe give us a nice surprise towards the end of the week, but no, we are not in good shape. So we'll see. Maybe Monday again is a bouncy day. Maybe we bounce, and again, if there is momentum, that is going to be an indication that we might actually start seeing you know, a reversal in some names to the upside, maybe. But if momentum continues to the downside, you're going to find yourself somewhere around 315 or 300 on Tesla. Another thing that I want to say before I finish, if there is a bounce tomorrow, you have a double bottom here. And that is a very strong setup. So we'll see what we get to on Monday. Okay, traders, that's all I have for you today. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and follow me in X. The link is in the description and the comments. Anyways, other than that, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you so much. See you either tomorrow or Monday. Bye bye.